to be seeing a lot of live, the quick and quiet, which is what Unsocial here is running. The Spirit is not allowed any chase perks, but they are forced to use the Muddy Cap and the Rusty Flute. You're probably very familiar with these add-ons as, well, they're the allocated add-ons for the survivors, but also we're going to be off to the races almost immediately here, as Unsocial is just having a quick look around Wrecker's yard, having a gaze at his resources, no windows in play, so he's going to have to sort of rely on his senses to where his resources are going to be lying. But we're going to be pausing here, getting ready, and any moment now, on the teabag, there we go, we're off to the races, time has started, and Unsocial here leading the chase, not dropping Shack immediately. Nu will be hitting a phase here, and that's going to be a very quick first tag. Nu with the short phase, very well played. Unsocial going to need to really evade the Spirit here, but this might be a very quick chase, and that's going to be the down! An extremely quick chase. What was the time there? I can't really see it anywhere. See a bounce landing off of the basement stairs right at the start, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start throwing that Shack Powered right at the start. I mean, if I was doing a Spirit 1v1, I'd probably be doing that to buy myself as much distance as possible, allowing me to go to, you know, whatever side of Wrecker's Yard I really want to. But interestingly enough, no windows yet. We're relying on a couple chase perks like Resilience and Bounce Landing, but we're off to the races immediately, and as I said, Darren Real dropping the pallet almost instantly, buying him a ton of distance, able to get him over to this little car filler here. We do see him doing these little teabags here, which resets the survivor's breathing sounds, making him almost completely silent. Playing the chase super safe here, pre-dropping the pallets and just trying to buy as much distance as possible, but Nu, I think, is about to have his power back almost immediately, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets hit with a phase here, but we have the bounce landing off the shit truck, which is wonderful to see, and a nice little setup here with this filler leading into what appears to be maybe a falling winner, but oh dear, not quite paying attention to where Nu might be. This might even be a tag, but no, Nu for the double back. That didn't even happen here, but I don't think he's going to be able to make this pallet. Greens the pallet a little bit, but this is going to be a cheeky M1. I wouldn't be surprised, and that will be the M1. Nu will have his power back almost immediately here, so I dare say he'll be hitting this phase, but we see the Firecracker dropping, trying to make a little bit of noise, but no blind coming through, but the sound should be enough to buy him a little bit more time here, and I dare say this will be a down potentially, but Resilience value, potentially, we do see the Resilience value, very nice there. This is going to allow Burrito to rank it over towards his matchstick tiles, buying him a ton more time here, but I dare say this phase might be the end of him. He has no resources available, he has his Resilience, and he's already used his Firecracker, but Nu with a fantastic phase here, and he will be going down right there with a very impressive time there to set up for things, and my dog's barking at me.
They do not have the bus on this map at oh, where is that on the map? Welcome back. Ooh.
Off to the races immediately there. I don't think Nu was quite ready for that, but no pallet throw immediately. We do have the crane pallet here, which I dare say will get pre-thrown. Nu not quite able to hit his phase here, not able to catch up, giving Duck the power there. We're going to have to wait for the power to come back, but we do have the Rusty Flute, so that power's going to come back relatively quickly. As you said, Duck does have Quick and Quiet and Light, both pretty good perks against the Spirit, allowing you to get a ton of distance, but we're going to be hitting that phase there, predicting the fast fault, and then just pre-throwing Shack there with our Live, and maybe trying to play around Shack a little bit, but Nu will have his phase back very shortly, but this is allowed, that Live has allowed Duck to rotate all the way down to 6th side of the map here. And it's buying him a good bit of time, although we do see a bit of lag coming through here. He has the Firecracker, is going to pop it, but Nu, don't think he gets bamboozled by it too much, trying to swing through the part here. I think he does camping it. Incorrect there, big man, but he's going to be going for a cheeky little mind game. Duck with the check spots, though. Hyper aware where Nu is, but no, a bit of passive phasing will spell his downfall, and thus Duck event joining like the hell of the event. It was closed beforehand, as I said in the announcement in the Discord server, but we're going to be having Stu here with Dramaturgy, Quick and Quiet here, starting off strong, no pre-dropping the pallet here to buy us any distance. He's going to be disqualified because Drama's banned, so big L for Stu here, also getting exposed on Dramaturgy, nearly eating shit and dying, but yeah, this chase won't matter because your boy brought Dramaturgy, but it wasn't that long anyway.
Too geeked, did not read the rules of...
Appreciate that. I'm a bad caster, chat. I'm sorry. But yeah, I do have the list here of who's in what order. At the moment, we have 46 contestants. And the current leaderboard is... We got... In first place, we have Burrito with 111. Second place is Duck with 52 seconds. And third place is Unsocial with 15 seconds. Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
So we're sussing out the tiles here. They don't really... Oh, well... They do have a good chunk here, up towards 12's side. They have dump track, which is really unfortunate for them.
I do want to say that the survivor choice of Yuichi, as pointed out in chat, is very interesting. Yuichi is historically a pretty loud survivor, and genuinely, if you want to be wanting in Spirit, you're going to be wanting those characters like Ace, you want those Loris, maybe even Shiver. Not Shiver, sorry.
Shiver's loud as-
Saga. Oh, yeah, Shiver's really loud. But we do see a nice little firecracker there, and then the double back into the shack window to get the lithe, buying us a ton of distance here now. I believe New already uses a little bit of a short phase here, but Zabrava going to be pre-throwing the shack, but going to be getting hit anyway with the phase there. I think maybe disturbing the grass there gave himself away to New. Zabrava going to be holding a bit of a check spot at the shack here, but he hasn't used the shack pallet yet. If he's able to pre-drop it here, which he does, is going to give New the chance to break it, but unfortunately, I believe out of this phase, he's not going to be able to make the pallet, but if he does, it's going to be a little bit of a 50-50 if he plays it well, but Yoichi being so loud is going to be very easy to read, and he does go down there with a time of, I believe that was 33.
Because Vigil only just lowers the exhaustion time. It doesn't have any additional effects, right? Unless
yeah, it just reduces all negative effects by a certain percentage, but the big one is exhaustion, right? But in pubs it will also affect things like the effects of sloppy butcher, exposed timed effects from dramaturgy, stuff like that. But yeah, in this scenario, we're going to be starting off with the rip, not even taking the pout side of the map here, just straight up ripping it. Going to be using lithe right out the gate, I dare say, trying to find a decent time maybe, but not even using our light to its full effectiveness and just going to be using it for a little bit of walking here. But we see the effects of Vigil coming in really strong here. Look how quickly that exhaustion is going down, but he does use the firecracker to bait out New a little bit, allowing him to get to this part here and try and camp it. But with the check spot, he's able to peel away and make it to a stronger tile. But oh no, with the short phase, this will be an M1 unless he gets the power stun. But no, he gets the power throw.
No way.
Spirit's 110 movement speed kind of catching up to Monk, and New not hitting space, and he's not going to be getting hit through that power as he does make it all the way back over to Shack Powered here. So he's going to be being able to play very safe, setting an incredibly impressive time so far of, I think that's about 45 seconds right now, and he's still healthy. I do think this will be our first place time here as he's just throwing every pallet, doing a bit of teabag and trying to make himself nice and quiet. New getting mind gamed here as just Nefarious is able to walk away from the Spirit here, but he's going to be able to double back the pallet, and this will be the first tag of the chase here. Coming through. We actually nearly have our exhaustion back with Vigil here, coming in clutch, but Nefarious is injured, and he's got 99 exhaustion. He's about to have it back, but no, he gets hit before he gets any value. And that's going to be a very impressive time of also
relying on the chase perks, not the actual information.
Yeah, first info perk, as you said, with the windows. Usually we're seeing, quick and quiet live, or in the case of Nefarious Vigil. But Tavi, just setting it right off the rip, this window is going to allow us to gather a ton of information about our surroundings. But New going for the first phase, he might be able to hit Tavi here as he has no resources. He doesn't hit the phase, but he does manage to walk down Tavi anyway. Getting that clean little M1 here, Tavi going to have to rotate over to the shack, pre-dropping the power, buying him a ton of distance. But looks like New is actually going for a phase, maybe doing a basement stairs mind game with the phase, but no. Oh, he does hit the phase though. Tavi getting down over the pallet, unfortunate there, but that will be the, I think that was 22-ish seconds for Tavi there. Very unfortunate.
Stairs against New here. He's opted for quick and quiet and live, which is a few perks we've seen a couple times now.
Yeah, can quick and quiet being a decent mind game, a potential perk, right? It's got potential, but like I feel like New's not really going to fall for it unless the chase is going on for a while, right? Because you expect the first vote to be quick and quiet if the survivor's going to have quick and quiet. So I wouldn't be surprised if New has that in his back pocket, in the back of his mind, trying to play around that quick and quiet potential pick. But be starting off the chase real strong, not taking Shack's side of the pallet, confidently rotating away over here to an L War, T War, popping live almost immediately, allowing us to rotate towards the 12 side of the map here to a stronger sort of rock powered tile. Halo walking, just trying to get a bit of his exhaustion back. Malian New looks like he's waiting for his power to come back here, just trying to get a cheeky little phase into Halo, but Halo playing it safe. We do see the phase coming out from New. Halo maybe trying to play around. He does squeeze past the husk there, but New will be hitting that phase. Very nice play from him. Halo being injured, trying to rotate back over to the shack, and New won't have his power for a little bit longer, but does he make the pallet here? It was a bit of an awkward pallet. He kind of took it like a truck, but we do make the shack pallet here, buying Halo a ton of distance here, and this will at least put us potentially in the top 3 if we're able to make this window here without getting phased on, but Halo double backing here, and New missing the phase, buying Halo a ton of time and distance, and he's going to be able to gift Halo this pound here, and he's going to buy Halo a ton of time. This might even allow him to put him in top 3, but New faking the phase there, and we do hit the phase spot on there, not quite allowing the fight.
Is it just for?
Well, you got silent ball, right? Like if New's phasing it default to power, you don't get like the loud noise notification. But I think New's probably a bit more keyed in, and quick and quiet might not be the play. IMO. I'd probably be bringing something like maybe Windows or Resilience or go insane mode and bring like vigil or something. But we're off to the races almost immediately. Jazz not taking any time to procure their surroundings, just taking the teabag and then leaving. Going for a cheeky walkie, and we are on Ada Wong, but Nu getting a very nice phase, but this does give Jazz the killer shack here, so we're going to be rotating away as best as possible. We haven't used our lithe or our quick and quiet yet, so we could see a pretty cheeky play coming out on this long wall as we hit the quick and quiet lithe combo, but Nu, we can hear him, is hot on our tail, and he hits that phase! Getting two tapped, unfortunate Jazz.
The end of...
Yeah, I don't know, it's just not seeing results from it. Maybe, you know, Atakan shows us something that, you know, changes my mind about bringing quick and quiet into a spirit. Like, I see it on paper, right? Like, oh,
yeah,
so
in theory.
be silent, and like in theory, but I think Nu's too locked into, you know, be fooled by the quick and quiet. I think if I was playing spirit, maybe that'd get me, but I don't think it's going to be tripping up Nu. I haven't seen Nu get tripped up by quick and quiet.
Maybe Atakan proves us wrong, proves us very silly and foolish, and absolutely juices with banger quick and quiet value in this 1v1 chase.
Yeah, maybe Vigil live big ping, but looks like this chase is about to begin, and we're off to the races here. Again, not opting to use the shack power at the start of the chase here. From what I've seen, all the strongest times have been with using the shack power at the start, but we do, once again, quick and quiet doing nothing. They're getting hit through the live straight up, and this is going to be Atakan rotating over to the shack here, going to be pre-throwing the power, but getting stuck in a pile of trash. He might not be able to make the shack power, but no, he'll be able to make it just in time. But once his shack pallet is broken, we're going to have another phase from Nu, and it doesn't look like Atakan has a lot of resources to work with. He has a hill, and he has a firecracker, and he has a prayer to answer, but he barely makes the pallet. Oh, pissed on Nu! And he's going to be able to get the stun there and rotate over to a very strong power at the 12 side of the map here. If he's able to get a cheeky little pre-throw, he might be able to mind game Nu a little bit here and just extend the chase as long as possible. Also, Nu setting up his phase at the power here, but I don't think Atakan's going to be able to get away. Not quite able to get to the power bit. He is also bringing the very popular quick and quiet live combo once again. Not seeing any value, but Potato Savage, I believe, is the man that will let us see the value in the combo. But as I said before, hard to Potato Savage a good bit. He's a very competent survivor, a very good spirit player himself. I'm keen to see how he performs here. He's got the most atrocious fit I've ever seen in my life on Ace Visconti. I'm not going to lie, this shit is disgusting, but I mean, Spirit doesn't see you half the time, so I guess she doesn't need to look at it. But spirit to spirit communication.
What are these pants? Oh my god.
But I think
are they half purple?
The races, they are half purple. They're the raid pants, but we're off to the races immediately here. Potato Savage, and again, another player not opting to use the shaft pad in the first chase, instead rotating over to more of the filler pallets here, but he makes it all the way over to a jungle gym here, but Nu not able to hit his first phase, which is a bit of a change of pace, but this is going to allow Potato Savage to use his live and bugger off to the other side of the map here. Buying himself a ton of distance, which is great to see because we just saw Nu used a ton of phase. We're going to be pre-jumping a pallet and then using Cracker and rotating over to looks like this jungle gym here. But Nu's hot in his trail and is going to be hitting that phase, which is really unfortunate for Potato Savage here. But with the first tag coming in at about the 30-second mark, that's exactly what you want in your Potato Savage. And this could potentially give us a podium resting place. But Potato going to be pre-throwing that shack pad, buying him a ton of distance. But by the time that shack pad is broken, we're going to be having Spirit's phase already off cooldown. So Nu needs to hit this phase. And it's going to be decently easy to hit because Potato is all kind of pissed on with the power stun though. Nu getting power stun through his save, not reading where Potato Savage was correctly, but is going to buy Potato a ton of distance and is going to secure him, I believe, a top 3 podium position unless Nu hits his phase immediately, which he does! Ouch. And Potato Savage does go down, and I believe that was barely 58. I think it's going to be a strong pick. You also have Dramaturgy. You got another Chinese New Year ace chest piece.
Better pants this time.
Not disgusting pants, at least. Yeah.
Got just the normal jeans instead of the half purple blue, was it?
We are keeping a track of all of them. Halo, we have all of the times in a spreadsheet. But looks like we're just keeping an eye on our surroundings here, getting ready for the 1v1. And looks like we're going to be off to the races very shortly. Hezekiah getting ready, hyping himself up a good bit. Giving the nodders. He's ready. Yeah. Top 3 position. Here it comes.
I believe.
Oh, after the races,
and the pre-drop.
He's lagging to begin with. Let's go with the rubber bands, but he's going to be vaulting here. Nu, I dare say, will be breaking that pattern on his ass in a quick split second with a bit of a phase, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hit it. It depends if Hezekiah's going to be able to throw that power, but no. Nu doesn't even make the distance to get Hezi, and Hezi's going to allow himself to sort of play around this boss just a little bit, but getting mind gained a little bit by Nu. Nu doing a bit of a cheeky double back, just waiting for his phase to come back here. If he's able to get a short phase off, this will be big, but we do see Hezi lagging a good bit, but We're going to be vaulting into the Husky and getting
Oh,
a
no
whiff
whiffs.
from Nu. Hezi with the aura. He's going to be getting tagged here, though, and this will be an overcome to the other side of the map, but I don't think Nu will have his face ready in order to catch up with this overcome. This gets Hezi all the way down to Shaq, but we don't have Shaq power because we use it at the start of the game, and Nu's got his phase back, and he's hauling ass after Hezi here, but will Hezi be able to mind him? But no! Oh, it's 10 wood, buddy!
Chills.
And
Chills. Chills warning.
that's going to be a very good...
Quick and quiet. Yippee! Celebrate. For the setup, couldn't quite see, but I believe they got the dump truck, which is very unfortunate. Stinky. Other than that, though, it looks like they do have a good bit of resources on the 6-ish side of the map.
And we're off to the races there with a quick little power drop, and it's going to buy Hades a ton of time here to just go down towards the 4 lane here, walk around. Ace does breathe decently loudly though, but getting hit through the vault there kind of sucks ass, but it's going to burn our light, and that injured speed is going to help us a good bit to get away from these resources here and up to where up to something a little bit more viable, I dare say, but we see Nu here starting his phase, but the Firecracker does juke him out a good bit, buying Hades a good bit of time to get this filler pallet here at the truck here, but Nu's going to have his phase really quickly here, and we can see him setting up at that pallet there for the phase, and Hades vaulting immediately, but that hit will be connecting, unfortunately. We are through everyone. We're at number 20 at the moment with LZY, and we have 48 people competing today, so we're almost halfway through.
Well, we're halfway there. We have dramaturgy and quick and quiet. It is allowed. Dramaturgy is allowed.
You can use drama. Yes, but it looks like LZY going to be holding the non-Jack side of the party here, trying to start it up, but we're off to the races immediately here. LZY giving the tear bag, maybe going to be rotating back around to the Jack later in the chase here, but we're going to be doing a cheeky little walk here, but I think walking in the grass kind of gets us away, but Dramaturgy getting us incredible value, causing you to whiff and buying us enough time to rotate back to the Shack. This is a free 10 seconds straight off the back thanks to our exhaustion perk being Dramaturgy, but we also don't have any pallets to work with on this side of the map here, but LZY able to sort of ruse Nu a little bit here, but we're getting pissed off. Plus 10 wood for Nu, hitting the windowsill, but allowing LZY to rotate around, but we're going to be rotating back into the Shack and mind giving Nu just a little bit, but we kind of run into some objects there, meaning that we don't get a ton of distance, and it keeps us trapped at this little truck loop, which isn't great against the Spirit, because she can just take position at the pallet here and sort of block you from being able to vault over, and we do hit our phase here immediately afterwards, which the decent first showing distance overcome also decently safe in my opinion, unless you get M1, then you kind of just have the Spirit catch up through a phase through your overcome, but we see Dark scouting the map here, just trying to suss out any resources he can find. And a Geese and a Gander around his environment, but we'll say we're not going to be starting on Shack side either. We're going to be teabagging and immediately running towards the fun bus here. Is this a God bus? It might be the God bus with the good vault in the middle, and it is. We're using our Firecracker almost immediately, allowing us to use a medium vault live into the bus, but the live doesn't really do a ton for us. We don't go anywhere with that, we're just kind of stuck at the bus. But Nu is just sort of trying to trap Dark on the side of the bus that he wants him to be on, body blocking the pallet here, forcing Dark to be in an uncomfortable position here. Dark getting a cheeky medium vault, but not quite getting hit. Very nice from him, allowing Dark to rotate over to the Shack here. Nu that was a short phase, so he might have his face back up by the time Dark gets to the Shack pallet, but I dare say we're going to be seeing the Shack pallet kicked, and then we're going to be seeing the phase afterward, and I do believe we're going to be hearing the phase any second here from Nu. Here it comes. We're out of 4 lane here, going to be going into the pallet here. We pre-throw the pallet, but Nu swings around and does get the M1 onto Dark, hitting the phase, but that's the first tag coming in at the 35-second mark, so it's bought Dark a ton of time, and Nu has to wait for his phase to come back, and Dark still has a good bit of resources on this side of the pallet, on the side of the map, my apologies, but he's opting in for the T-wall here. He does vault with resilience, buying him a good bit of time, but I dare say Nu will be hitting this phase, as Zarina is not the quietest survivor in the West, and that will be a 53-second chase here from Dark, so a pretty reasonable result, all things considered. It's not a top 3 podium finish, but it's close to it. Well
it was Dark. Actually a minute on the dot.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is still... wait.
Is that a bit late? It's not first, because the second place is a minute 11, the third place is a minute 10, so he's definitely not first.
Yeah, I think the leaderboard is
he's third.
the wrong way around. No, not even. I think fourth.
He's fourth.
Not a leaderboard placement, unfortunately.
Very close to it, though.
1 second off being on the leaderboard. That was a very good chase.
Yeah, Halo's still maintaining his third place position on the podium. So for those of you unfamiliar, maybe you're just joining us now. In first place, we have Burrito at 111. Second place is... Now locking in with the information here with the blackout Jake here. Very nice fit. Very good for blending in with the environment. Jake also a decently quiet survivor as well. So not a bad pick at all for Nano. But
He looks
keeping
so
an eye on his
cold.
surroundings, he does look very cold. I mean, Vex's Guard's probably pretty cold.
Very
He
chilly.
looks cold. And we're going to be throwing the Shack Pallet immediately, which is a great way to start off the chase here. Buying us
And
a good
running into a
distance.
tree.
Nano did unfortunately bump into a tree there, a bit of a car crash, which is unfortunate, but he does make this loop over here. But we heard Noob going around, but no, Noob missing out on the phase, but thankfully not getting stunned. He will be breaking that pallet, and if Nano doesn't have any resources anywhere, he might just get walked down by the spirit, which is not good. But he does make the pallet just in time. But he gets monkey swung through it. Kind of short on, but he is going to be able to use his life to get away to maybe another resource. But Nu has his phase back immediately because he, of course, just walked down Nano there. I believe Nano will be going down there, and that will be a very unfortunate chase for Nano. The monkey swing through the pallet, earning him a really early injury, which otherwise could have potentially been a really long shot.
Vision is.
It's a peculiar combo for sure. We also have the Firecracker here. I keep forgetting that survivors have access to the Firecracker. It's a pretty good method to, interrupt the sounds in your environment and make spirits so they can get themselves as to where you're going. But so I'm going to be taking power side, giving a gaze around the map, just having a look at their surroundings. Doing the teabag on the swing off the bat there, just pre-throwing the Shack pallet, trying to buy as much distance as humanly possible. Nu will be facing immediately after the power break. I wouldn't be surprised, but Slug doesn't make it. Oh, he does just barely make it to the power. Throws it on the opposite side and does manage to buy himself a ton of distance. Nu missing their phase. Slug with a cheeky little mind game. This allows him to go all the way over to the Shack pallet. Now, we don't have live, but we do have overcome. But he has some good tiles to play around here. But Nu is just going to be holding the window there, going to be going for a cheeky little phase here. But I think the grass is sold Slug and has indeed. But we have overcome, allowing us to rotate all the way back down to this side of that, but this is where we use our resources, Slug. You don't want to really be going down here. Oh, we did a bit of a fake out with the a golden play from Slug, dropping the Kraken to bait Nu into swinging on the other side. Shit ons, Nu. Holy hell. This buys Slug a ton of distance to the other side of the map, allowing him to into a bunch of resources here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a podium finish. He needs to win this mind game, though. He does reverse. He vaults the power with quiet, getting value out of the perk. Nu playing for his life here. This might be a top 3 finish, but Nu, there was a decently short phase. Slug trying desperately to find any more resources. He's forced to go edge map. He might even have to just crouch here and pray that Nu misses his phase. Nu's looking a little lost here. The roaring noise selling him out. Slug just holding W to the edge map, trying to buy a ton of time, and this is going to be a top 3 finish at minimum, but he's going to be running around this shit tile here, just trying to buy as much time as possible against the 110 killer, and that will be a 1 minute and 16 second. That will be a first place podium finish for your SCA GOAT Slug. Well played. I told you he is the GOAT.
You proved me wrong.
Well, so I'm keen to see if Andrew's able to get that Vigil to reproc his live mid-chase, as keep in mind, a few patches ago, Vigil was buffed, so you do get your exhaustion back on Vigil pretty, on live pretty damn quick. I don't know what the base number is for live, actually. Let me hop into DBD real quick and have a gaze.
Feels warning, this might be the coldest player.
40 seconds is base live.
Boo, boo.
Boo, such a freak, boo. Andrew's taking a tour of the map as well, making sure he's got all his ducks in a row.
Getting all the
really
information
confident in
in.
his chase, trying to make sure he knows what's what. He teabags, the chase is on, he pre-drops Strack, trying to buy him a lot of early distance he has. He doesn't have many good resources here. He does have a 4 lane here. Stops in the middle of the 4 lane to try and bait out chase from Nu here, but Nu missing his phase is going to give Andrew the Shack pallet. He does fake it, but Nu not falling for it, as he does rotate back into Shack here, but Jeff will be able to get the fast vault here. Nu will be, unfortunately be phasing from inside the Shack here, but Andrew crouch walking around the gen, playing it safe, but he's not going to be able to make that vault as he just gets tagged into his live. The first hit happening here, our live that may able to get us all the way over to the bus here. I don't know if he has a good bus or not, I can't quite tell. I think this is a god bus, but Nu already having his power back, and so that was a decently short phase. Andrew does vault into the chase, into the middle of the bus, and he is going to be going down, as I believe that was a 41-second chase.
I didn't even see the down there. I just saw the top of the bus.
Yeah, he just kind of medium vaulted him and tried. Unfortunate for Andrew, but decent chase. 42 seconds. Value from Slug, to be fair.
Yeah, we did. Slug was proving us wrong with the quick and quiet. I don't know if that was just like godly chase though, or actual value.
We do have Snags checking out the map here, just trying to get his bearings, understand what he's working with before he gets into the chase with Nu. But confidently rotating over to the Shack here, and he's not even throwing the pallet. He's just gonna leave it there for later, crouch and walk away. He's gonna doing a couple of teabags here, and the teabagging was to try and mask his breathing, but unfortunately he does hit the phase there. Nu kind of hitting a really nice phase into Snag. That was super short as well, so we're gonna be seeing the phase coming up immediately here, but Snag is just unfortunately I think going to be dying, and unfortunately for Snag being a 2-tap, and that's going to be a 20.
Chatham.
Pretty popular survivor in the comp scene. His good movement from a survivor, as well as being decently quiet.
Them shoes are heat. Am I right, fellow?
Am I right, fellow gamers? The kicks are pretty awesome.
The kicks are pretty fly.
Fly kicks, my guy. Anyway, he's going to be starting up the chase here, pre-throwing the shack, playing it super safe as possible as he rotates away here, trying to use his light to the best of his ability into a different tile, potentially rotating back down to the bottom side of the map. We have a decent power here, but he's going to have to try and read the phase perfectly for Nu, force himself to 50-50, but Nu is over in Narnia. He's over there playing with himself. But Philly, able to go over the bus here, just pre-throwing the power, trying to play the best of his ability. Nu will have his phase back here with this power break, but Philly holding the check spots here, able to rotate away from Nu, throwing the cracker here. I don't think he got a blind. He didn't get a blind, but Nu, he's got the diamond headset.
Way.
But no, he gets stuck a little bit in the bus, and then he rotates away. But Philly not bolting. He's playing it super patient. This might be a generational podium play. This might knock out Slug's first place. He's planned for it all. He's not even injured yet. This might be an injury here as Nu is about to catch up, but Philly greases the target. Nu misses. It allows Philly to rotate over to the shack pad, gets the vault here, uses live, the super lane to the chase, allowing him to rotate all the way down to 6. Nu's getting kind of cooked here. Philly keeping going on with the generational run. We're about to hit the 60-second mark, and we're not even injured yet, but I think he's going to be injured right about now. But Nu, he's looking lost. He's off at 9 now. He's doing nothing. Philly's used half the powers of the damn map, and he's not even injured yet. He's playing a generational run here. This might even be a 2-minute chase. But Nu fakes the power break here, does a little bit of a short face, and this will be the first injury here if he's able to hit the swing. But Philly is holding the rock super close here, but no, that will definitely be the swing here. But with that chase being, that phase being so short, Philly will be able to get to this part here, but Nu will almost have his phase immediately here, but Nu not quite hitting the face here, but he does eventually hit the face here, and this will be a first place finish of 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Insane chase.
He's got the funny hat. Now, this is true Ace Visconti fashion right here, but we see Sim having a look at his surroundings, keeping all of his ducks in a row here, but the teabag to signal the chase. We're not using Shack Power just yet. We're rotating away from it. We do have Live, Quick, and Quiet. A pretty popular build from tonight, as we've seen, but Sim pre-dropping the power, bolting directly into Nu's waiting arms, like a warm hug. Very generous of him. But Sim is just going to be pre-throwing this part here, trying to play his life. But with the super early injury, I can't imagine him lasting very long here. At this moment, we're trying to just play for time to the best of our ability, playing super safe. But with us being injured, it's going to be really hard. But Nu, unfortunately, missing that phase here, I was going to buy Sim a good bit of time and sort of recovering what time was lost with that unfortunate first hit here, but we do throw the cracker and try and rotate away, but I believe Nu is hot on his heels, where to get that hit, but no, Nu's a bit lost. He's over in Narnia, buying Sim a ton of distance, and for an injured chase against the Spirit, this is actually pretty damn good work here, as we slowly get into the 30-second mark, but Sim might just be getting walked down here.
No,
He's nearly active. We do see the phase here, but unfortunately Sim not quite able to make it, as he does get hit through the medium vault. Nearly Sim, but maybe if we had resilience, we might have been able to make it, but that will be a
56 seconds?
53-second chase. 53-second chase after such a quick first injury isn't that bad at all. Well played to
starting the chase.
Yeah, after the race is immediately rotating over to this war table here. Quick and Quiet living all the way over to the crane here. This does allow us to get to the pallet here towards the crane, but unfortunately we're just kind of trapped in the corner. Nu will just be waiting for his base to come back, but Hal has just decided, actually, I'm not going to wait for that. I'm just going to walk away Lamau and buy a ton of distance towards 12 here, but Hal will be walking here outside of the grass, which is really important. A lot of spirits will pay attention to the grass to try and find out where you're walking, as they can see the grass being disturbed by your footsteps. So Hal did go out of his way to sort of walk in an area where there was no grass. Unfortunately, not many resources located locally, so he's going to be running to the shack pallet there after being injured, throwing the pallet, and then moseying his way down to 6 here. But he does have a couple of resources to work with here, and he's putting up a decent time so far. But if he's able to last in this injured chase, he does slow up. But I think Nu would have heard that, as he's pretty loud and Nu's hot in his heels. But no, Nu maybe getting minding himself just a little bit and getting lost. This allows Hal to rotate over to this pallet here and buy a ton more time from him as he pre-throws it super safely. He does vault with Quick and Quiet, but I think Nu's just going to be able to walk him down here. Even if he is 110, he should be able to make the vault. He doesn't have resilience, and that will be a down. I think that was a 1 minute and 6 second questions in chat. We're currently at technically number 33, but we're going to have DC, then we're going to have Gibbsy, then we're going to go to an intermission, then after that we're going to come back, we're going to have Mish, Felix Richter, Hee Poopy. So for that question, Felix, you will be the second game after the next intermission. But we're off to the races immediately. The chase has started. DC pre-dropping the palm, playing the super safe here, able to rotate over to the bus. I think he barely makes it here. Oh, with the cheeky... Oh, walking into walls. We're getting a bit lost. I think he thought there was a vault there. There wasn't actually a vault. oh dear, what is going on? But a bit of a messy start here, trying to mind game the Spirit a little bit, but I think he might just be cooked here, trying to use the crack to play for his best of his ability, but I think Nu's going to catch on to the DC hasn't actually left the pallet. A bit of a missed phase, unfortunately. DC recovering just a little bit from an extreme, legendary fumble, but we're going to be recovering a good bit and able to make it over to this falling. We still have some stuff to work with here, but he kind of wended his overcome, but plus 10 wood for Nu, not quite hitting that phase. DC having his quick and quiet get a little bit of value there, which is great to see, but Nu, that was a short phase, he's going to be able to phase this quickly, but that's going to be a short phase onto a slow boat, and DC will be going, I think, could get the live. I think it's Gibbsy. I believe Gibbsy could get the second live with the Vigil, but we do have Hanato here, yes, very quiet survivor, all things considered. But scanning out his surroundings, having a good game down. He's ready for the chase now. We're off to the races, not using the pallet immediately at the shack. We're going to see saving that later as we head down towards the 12th side of the map here. We have the hatch in this tile, which might actually screw up Nu's hearing a little bit because it is quite loud, but we're going to be playing around the power. I wouldn't be surprised if Nu kicks it and just doesn't play around the noise of the hatch, but we are going to be kicking that. But no, we faked the kicking of the power to initiate a phase, and we see Gibby getting a very nice mind game, and unfortunately I don't think he makes that bolt as he does get hit through it, but we are going to be seeing the lithe and injury speed coming in clutch here, but I think Nu did a bit of a short phase there, using the crack to rotate back to the pallet, but Nu very patient, unfortunately. Gibbsy not quite getting the result that I was expecting, and landing with a 30-second giant banana, unfortunately.
I don't know, he kind of blends in with the grass.
Yeah, blends in with the grass with his yellow jacket.
It's kind of a similar shade, you know.
We are off to the races immediately, once again, not using the shack part immediately, but instead we're going to be rotating over here, using quick and quiet live on the long wall, but our footsteps are going to give away our position, but Nu not quite hitting the phase here. Mike getting a wonderful stun here, and that was a full phase, which means Nu's cooldown is quite a long time, so Mike playing super safe here, able to throw that pallet. He's got a god setup here. That long wall into a pallet, into the bus, this is quite a nice setup. He might have a lot of resources here to work through here, but unfortunately, Nu hitting that phase almost perfectly. Mike not quite betting him into thinking he was elsewhere, but he is injured, throwing the cracker as Nu is going to be catching up very shortly. I don't think he was phasing this, and that might have been a misplay, but we did get the stun of the Nu! Getting that shack pallet stun is big, especially after a medium length phase. This is going to buy Mike a ton of time, and I think we should be approaching the 50-second mark as we head over down to the 6 area, but he's going to be carrying this pallet, trying to play the 50-50 with Nu here, but no, quick and quiet, not doing us any favors, and Nu winning that 50-50, resulting in a 50-second chase.
Not quite
Than quick and quiet, which is great to see on Mishmish, but I'm keen to see how he goes here, pardon me. Giving a quick scout of the map, gets all his ducks in a row, knows what he's working with as Nu waits patiently at the shack. It looks like we are going to be starting the shack side, which might mean a pre-drop from Mishmish. Keen to see how he plays, and we do pre-drop the shack immediately, buying us a precious few seconds of time here now. Of course, pre-dropping the shack so early does mean he won't have it later on in the match if he needs it. We do hear Nu phasing though, but we did disturb some grass here, which might clue Nu into that fact that Mishmish is still here, and we get a very early tag here, which is unfortunate for Mishmish, but he still has the quick and quiet live in play, so he could probably make his way over to the crane here, work with the pallet here, get a quick and quiet live, and go bugger off somewhere and buy himself a good bit of time. But as it's looking now, it is looking a little bit grim here, as Nu probably has his phase by now, and is going to be playing around this pallet here, but Mishmish going for the pallet throw. He's going to get hit by the Nu phase here, unfortunately, and that will be an unfortunate chase there from Mishmish. God forbid Handmaster ones or Sino ones or something like that.
Chucky?
Lucky ones? Anyone want to 1v1 my Chucky? But we have Sizz here standing at the shack, keeping an eye on his surroundings. He didn't have the quick run through of Wrecker's Eye, keeping an eye on his surroundings, but we do start off the match right quick with a pre-throw of the shack part, buying us a good bit of distance towards 12th side of the map here. We have a matchstick tile to work with, which will be our live balance spot for us, but we're trying to read Nu's mind games here, but it kind of waste our lives just standing at the window, but maybe for the best, because we do allow ourselves to, a cheeky little corner hole from Sizz, able to buy him a ton of distance, but we do see Nu sort of, Sizz reading Nu like an open book, and he's kind of cooking Nu at the moment. He's able to rotate all the way over to this L wall. Not a single pallet used, and Nu not quite able to hit that base here, but this will be an M1 regardless. He's able to catch up and hit Scissors before he gets his fault, unless he fakes it, but no, even with the fake, he still gets tagged here. I believe with the short phase there, Nu will be able to phase after him. Scissors pre-dropping his firecracker, trying to buy him as much time as humanly possible, but I think with the, with the scratch marks, he's not able to make the pallet, and what looked like a really strong, again, just think Resident Windows is probably better, right? Or Vigil even. But I think pretty keen to start on the shack side of the pallet. Lucky going to be pre-throwing that pallet to try and find him a good bit of time. Do rotating over there. All ready to go. 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, think about it. Think about it.
3, 2, 1. And
there we go.
Okay, starting off the chase nice and strong on the power side, but not using the power interestingly enough. Just sort of walking around here, but we are disturbing the grass, which gives
Ooh,
New a
the
good clear in where he is.
stun.
But a nice stun, a bit of wood dropped on New's head. It allows Prey to rotate over the shape power, not need to worry about any sort of problems here. But it buys him a ton of time here, which is fantastic to see. And with that pre-throw, New is going to have his power back, but a bit of a 50-50 as to whether or not he hits his face. But Prayer just full setting it down map, kind of mind getting a New a bit. And this is going to buy him a ton of time. We're about to approach the 30-second mark, and no injuries come through here, making it so that way Prayer might even set a really, really good time here. But he does, because the edge map part is going to be pre-throwing it. I think New will be able to safely play around this part here, but we do get the killer blind here onto New, which is unfortunate to see. It looks like Prayer is lagging just a little bit, but we're going to be seeing New with the short face. Prayer reading it perfectly.
my
Able to rotate
God.
on the other side of the edge map part, and we bought a ton of time here. Prayer also rotating over, back over to the edge map part, but this will be a first tag here, coming through at the 50-second mark, which is great to see for Prayer. This could potentially be a top 2 podium finish. It depends on whether or not New is able to get the follow-up tag, but I think we might be seeing a third place result here. We do see our live coming through with Quick and Quiet, buying him a ton of time here. New not quite able to catch up. This allows Prayer to pre-drop this part here and play it super duper safe. Prayer currently at about the 1 minute 10-second mark, I believe. He's about to make a podium finish if he just runs the edge map, but he does still have the bus active. New about to have his phase back. We see hear the phase coming through here. Now it's a 50-50 on whether or not Prayer hits his phase. But New not able to hit the phase, unfortunately, and playing super patient and safe on this bus. But no, he will be jumping directly into New's arms and be going down. But I think that might even be... Is that first place?
That was just under first place by mere milliseconds.
Yeah, so that was a 129.01 run there from Prayer. First place is still Philly Fry with 129.91. Just literally a second, less than a second off.
Forgive me, centiseconds run. I think resilience is definitely the play over Quick and Quiet. With Quick and Quiet, it's really hit and miss. Like when you do get the value, it's good value, but a lot of time the value is just not there.
We do drop the power, so we're off the races immediately, playing it super safe for Felix. He kind of waited by the path, though, and didn't buy a ton of distance. Not that it really matters, as New is going to be able to phase immediately after them. I don't think Thirst is going to be able to make any resources, as New does get the first phase off very quickly, which is unfortunate for Felix, but he still has life to work with. He is able to get a vault, but that resilience value coming in clutch there, with a bit of a late vault there, getting us... lined value, rotating us up over to 12, but the power is so damn far away, and New's hot on our heels with a phase, but even with that cracker, he's not going to make it, but still sets a respectable time. Good old reliable line and res, you can't really go wrong with it, something super reliable. Going in here, he's going to have a scout of his surroundings, but he does have the cracker as well in hand, so I think JD's going to actually put up a decent result here. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he's able to put up a podium finish position. From what I recall, he's pretty damn confident, so...
I believe in JD. JD is my goat. Praging for at least third place. Beat the high ping gamers.
Beat the high ping gamers. Yeah, in the OCE 20, please put more OCE people in the top 3. But JD doing a short walk down, unfortunately not quite working against New, as he does get tagged almost immediately. JD rotating back over to the Shack. He's likely going to be pre-throwing the Shack here to buy himself as much distance as humanly possible. He still has the life in the back pocket. We're going to be throwing the cracker down there. Does get the killer blind onto New, but I don't think that's going to do a ton. He has, I dare say, New will be on his ass with a phase. Very quick, smart, and he does. JD likely going for a bit of a cheeky safe pre-throw, but we do hear New rotating around the other side, but with a cheeky lob, are going to buy us a bit more time here as we just passed the 30-second mark here, entering our average time space. But New is holding that side of the power drop there, just trying to wait for his phase to come back, but JD rotates away to a much stronger tile, although this one is a lot longer, so it might actually not work out well for him, as he is injured, and with a bit of a short phase here, New might be able to land directly on top of him, and that's exactly what happens as JD does go down with a 49-second chase.
Very respectable time, considering that there was a very... Maybe we are just the problem, you know? We're here being like, I don't think... Quick and Quiet is it, but we are the problem, I think.
And we're off to the races immediately, dropping the power, playing it nice and safe here. Remember, Zeno is on the high ping, 250, so he's going to be pre-throwing a ton of parts, playing it super safe here. But I dare say we're going to be hearing New's Spirit phasing hot on his trails, playing it super safe, pre-throwing the crane powered here, rotating away. Hasn't used his cracker just yet, doesn't really need to here. Pre-throws the power and then vaults into it to maybe to trigger his Lithe. This gets him very far away from New here. He does drop the cracker to try and shake New off of his tail, but I don't think New's going to be sort of caught off guard by that. But what on earth? New kind of getting scanned there, but thankfully getting the follow-up hit here with the second swing. I don't know how that one worked, but a decent play by Zeno here, but he does get injured relatively early, so this could be a very quick 2-tap if New is able to get his phase back in time. He does it. We can hear the phase creeping up on Zeno here, but with the reverse throw, but no! Zeno goes down within 43 seconds, I believe that was.
4-second chase.
3 seconds, smash it is 4 seconds. So if you do get smashed at the proc, it's actually a better sprint burst on that stun, and you're making a criminal amount of distance. So if Nia here is able to actually get the stun onto Nu, it'd be really interesting, but unfortunately we do get tagged through our fast vault there at the shack. Not a great start for your boy, but he will be able to rotate away, throwing the cracker to disturb Nu's follow-up phase here, but I think he did that a bit too early as he didn't quite able to. Oh, but no! Oh, he wants right back into Nu. He nearly had the mind game there, but not quite. And with a 22-second chase, oh sorry, a 19-second chase. We do bridge off the pallet here, playing super safe, rotating away from the pallet to the best of our ability, and just immediately walking. It looks like, but Nu hard on his heels with the phase. I'm sure there it is. We are going to be slow vaulting, but I'm sure Nu probably heard that. We do meet him back with the Lithe, and do we get away? But no, we're going to be walking for some reason, which unfortunately does sell us out and result in us getting tagged there, which is really unfortunate for Bombaclad. But we get to the test tag at about the 12-second mark, I believe that was. Spirit rotating over to this tile here, but does Bombaclad able to get to the pallet here? It does. He's able to pre-throw, but I think Nu already has his phase up. So we'll be seeing the phase. The lava hop is kind of completely fucking insane.
And that was a...
Pre-dropping Shack buys us a good bit of time at the start here, buys us a few extra precious seconds, but it does mean that we don't have... Oh, unfortunately, Painkiller's mind game being read like a book there from Nu as he drops it on the wrong side, trying to convince Nu that he was on the other side of the power, but Nu not quite falling for it. Painkiller just going to be pre-throwing this power and running away. I dare say he'd probably be using the cracker to try and buy himself a little bit of time here. I wouldn't be shocked if maybe he is able to get a Lithe off of this. Oh, a nice read from Nu, despite the firecracker. The classic comp base fit with the cap, the black tuxedo and the black pants. You know him, you love him, the comp base. But giving a cursory glance around at the surroundings here as we move on over to the shack here, just trying to give a good glance at the surroundings, making sure he understands where he is, deciding whether or not he wants to start on the shack side or not, but I think he's comfortable starting on the side without the shack pallet, meaning that he's wanting to wrap back around to this pallet later in the chase. But we're starting off things nice and swift here. Sen walking almost immediately out of the gate here, trying to avoid the long grass to the best of his ability as possible, as he does walk around here. Nu getting kind of lost, but the drop power will alert him to Sen's position as he does drop the firecracker mid phase here, but Nu, reading him like a book, is going to be getting a very nice tag here. Fantastic play by Nu. Sen is now going to be rotating down to the shack here, trying to pre-throw the power, I dare say, but he does have Lithe still available to him. Nu eating the power very happily. He understands that he's just going to have to get the shack power out of the way, get his power back, and then get the phase off of this play here, but Sen still has that Lithe in his back pocket, but he needs to play this power super safe, but we do see Nu here charging his phase at the pallet before it gets dropped, and Sen going to be playing around 50-50 at this pallet, but no, Nu reading him like a bog, and he will be going down with a 45-second time.
Leading in, we have the Overcome Resi. Oh,
we're getting loud with it. Okay, that's going to reflect on the stream, by the way, big man.
Put it back down.
Put that bastard down. I was deafening. My god. He can't even deafen to listen, so I guess the cast's gonna have to shut up while the spirit phases.
Alright, let's be quiet.
Right at the back, we see Nu swinging here, and I guess he's gonna probably be breaking the pad and then following up with a phase. Casters will have to shut up when we do hear the phase, but we don't hear a phase. We didn't hear the phase yet because he did delay it a little bit, but Jarm's able to fake out Nu a little bit and stealth a good bit. This allows him to rotate over to this T-wall and get the vault, but unfortunately no Lithe there as he is running Overcome Resilience. He does manage to rotate over this pallet, but unfortunately does get tagged before he's able to walk into the pallet. If he just kept running, he might have been able to get off the pallet and then throw it to get for a stun, but so far so good. Everything's working in his favor, but kind of getting scanned by the husk and getting stuck in it. Really unfortunate, but we do see, I think that was
41 seconds.
41-second chase. Avid can have value, and when it does have value, it's big value too, because it's like the difference between a hit and not. Whereas things like Windows and Resi are a bit more like, you know, like consistent but not as volatile. So I can kind of understand where the Quick comes from as the night goes on, but we do see Dog having to gaze around the map, having a gander, seeing what resources he has available to him that he can work with, and he has a pretty good setup here with the pallet so close to the other side of Shack. That's not bad at all, leading down to the 6th side of the map, but we do start with the teabag, not throwing the Shack pallet as it's on the other side of Shack, so we're just going to be raw dogging it over here towards the bus, but I don't think he quite makes it to the pallet. He does make it to the pallet, but
the stun.
Nu going for a little bit of a greedy swing here, not quite hitting it, but Dog is able to rotate over to the Shack pallet here, and he is going to go for the pre-throw. Being healthy for this long is a huge boon for Dog, as it does allow him just to make it harder for Nu in the first bit of chase, and he does get the vault. A nice read from Dog, allowing him to get the light all the way up to the 12 side of the map. He does walk around the shack pallet here as he's trying to lose Nu a little bit, maybe mind game just a little bit, but has Nu caught on? Not quite.
Oh,
I think
Nu
Nu
has
thinks
lost
he's at
him.
12. Dog's on the other side of the map. He's a bit lost. He might need to fast vault this far just to let him know where he is, but he has quick and quiet. But good sportsmanship from Dog as Nu does vault back down to this side of the map. I dare say Nu's going to be hot on the straight with his face, and that will be a tag coming through here as at about the 48-second mark, which is huge for Dog. That was a long phase 2 from Nu, so it's going to be a hot minute until he gets his power back. This could potentially be another podium finish if he plays his cards right. He does have the God Busters. If he's able to play this right, he could potentially knock out Slug for 3rd place, but that remains to be seen as Nu is going through the phase, but no!
Ooh.
Dog will be going down just barely.
1 minute on the
1
dot.
minute on the dot. 1 minute 93 for Mr. Dog here, as I think the time was started early for the stream, but
We have it in on the live, and quick and quiet, my brain's turning off.
live, quick and quiet, we have two again with the Cracker, but we are starting off the shack side of the pad, playing it super safe here. Has a pre-throwing the shack power with Nu swing coming through. He's going to have to break that power and then follow with a phase, but it does allow Hazard to rotate all the way over to the crane here, which is huge for him, as he's able to play super safe here. We can see him came to the part, and he does win the 50-50 phase there, but he does have his light here. I wonder if Nu's just waiting for his power to come back here so that way he can phase down Hazard, but he opts to instead break the crane. But Hazard throwing that Cracker a little bit earlier, I think, as Hazard does rotate over to the Z-Wall, the Infinite, but he does get a hit through the Infinite. Unfortunate for Hazard, not quite getting the light off of the Z-Wall that he wanted, but it does buy him enough distance to go into the middle of the map here, allowing him to rotate over this Rockvale. He throws it on the other side of the power, trying to mind game Nu a little bit, and it somewhat works as he goes to the vault. Fake, but no! Nu swing for the fake, believing his lies. Hazard might be able to make this vault. A Spirit is only 110, and he does! Plus 10 metal for Nu!
Way.
Hazard able to rotate back over to the rock. He's setting up a pretty damn good time for how injured he is. He does do a cheeky double back, but Nu does he buy it? But no! Plus 10 wood for Nu! He's playing Fortnite with all these resources he's collecting. Hazard able to rotate back over to the shack side of the map. He's able to make it down to this 4 lane here, but he doesn't have a ton to work with. He only has the crane window. He's holding W for his life, trying to break that 1 minute mark, but unfortunately, Giants bugging at the time. We'll have to see what Gohan has said. But oh, the spin! Juicing after OCE! And he finally goes down. I don't know what that time was. I think
1 minute and 10 seconds.
I think it might have been better. I think Gohan might have paused. I'm not too sure. Can we confirm from our refs? Nu got shit on. I'm so sorry, bro. That was my favorite chase. Has a lived up to the hype.
Oh yeah, okay, it's fixed now. The sheets was broken for a second.
Chase, I'll do a little outro for you all.
Ooh, lag.
Come in here.
With Macmillan reshade.
After the races, Gohan.
Not too sad. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've got ping and I've got FPS issues.
Gohan holding a bit of W here, but he's able to get that lie. The big play from Gohan. Able to rotate over to this matchstick tile, but the Cracker not quite coming in through. Unfortunate for you, Gohan, mate, but you do get tagged. You're able to rotate down to this side of the map, but I think Nu might be hot on your tail.
I think he is. I'm gonna knock that.
Ooh.
Ooh. Cheeky little job. You got a good setup here with the pallet and the long wall there, but I think Nu's just probably going to phase you out of it in Zonia. But going to have to rotate around here. He is trying for a cheeky rotate away from that setup there, but Nu coming in with phase.
Oh,
Unfortunately, Gohan going down there. But we do have set a reasonably good time of 42 seconds.